Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Smooth Move podcast. That's a mouthful every time I say it. Smooth Move podcast, brought to you by yourdependablepartner.com. And today we have a very special guest with us, and it's a topic that I think very few people know is even an available option. And so I want to welcome John Imperatore. Did I say that correctly, John? I hope I did. Uh,
Yes, you can. Yes, you did.
good. And John is with Seniors Helping Seniors, and it's a very unique type of program. I'll let you go into it, John, and tell us a little bit about what it is. But I'm so thrilled to bring this to our audience again because, we love bringing information that most people just aren't familiar with all of the options. And this is one of these great options that I'll let you tell more about. So tell us what Seniors Helping Seniors. I mean, the name itself, I guess, says some of it, but I want you to go a little bit deeper.
Sure. And thank you again, Brian and Joelle, for having me today. Really excited to be here. And yeah, love the opportunity to talk about what we're doing. And yeah, I will start with our name, Seniors Helping Seniors. Pretty much says it. I hire active seniors with one hand, and we help seniors who are trying to live in their home and live a better life. Uh, and what I also do is I'm just matching people up. So the seniors we're helping, everybody is very different. Everybody has different needs. And I think about who on my staff I think would be the best fit, and I invite them to work together. And some things people should know about companion care. It's actually called homemaker and companion care in Florida, and I start by saying what it's not. We're not helping people with anything nursing, the medical, complicated medical stuff. We're not licensed or trained to do that. And we're also hands off. So we're not helping people with the showering and bathing and stuff like that. However, that does give us a lot of time and energy to focus on other aspects of a senior's life that maybe aren't going quite as well.
How do you find the seniors, the active seniors? Do they self-select by you put an ad in, or do you get them from like, I don't know, maybe the Volun Center or somewhere like that?
Yeah, it's a good question. It comes from lots of different sources. I mean, we're always recruiting, and word of mouth is really great because sometimes we get a companion and they start with us and they go, "Oh my gosh, this is really working."
Hmm.
And then they, know a friend who's in a similar situation. And what I'm doing with the, active seniors that we're hiring is, we're trying to give them options too, so that we can fit into their life. They're looking for maybe a little bit of balance in their life. Maybe their vision of retirement is not working as planned. Financial issues do come up. I mean, we're not going to fix someone's financial situation, but we can have that sort of think people can make some money on the side, which kind of helps everything kind of come together.
Hmm.
And people come on a part-time basis, and that could mean different things for different people. It could be 10 hours a week for someone or 30 hours a week for somebody else. And it's a good fit because what we're doing is we're not really needed like certain home health aides or nurses, where we're not doing these long 8 to 12 hour shifts, so to speak. Our shifts are more like in the 4 or 5 hours. Let's have a productive day together. And there's lots of different things, lots of different approaches we take depending on the client's needs.
Can you give us some examples of some of the things that you do? Like, let's say somebody lives in a community and there's a pool. Do they go with them to the pool if that's what they want to do? Or maybe they have like a pool room or something like that, where they're shooting pool, cards, like what types of activities do you find people are doing?
Yeah. I mean, most common would be some more basic things, what they call instrumental activities of daily living, which is
Okay.
different than activities of daily living. it's the day-to-day functioning tasks that the rest of us take for granted. Going shopping and making meals and keeping the house maintained and things like that. So that's sort of the homemaker part where our seniors that we're helping, they've done that for themselves their whole life. All of a sudden, things like that just become a little more taxing, maybe risky, maybe they're not doing it quite as well as they once did. And they could just use some help making sure that stuff is taken care of. And that's sort of foundational in a sense. And then to your point, people are also maybe not living their best life. They don't look at this stage of life as sort of a place to have fun and do meaningful activities. They see it as sort of more of a survival phase in a sense. So we will find out what people enjoy doing. Maybe someone needs encouragement to do it. Maybe they don't want to do it on Tuesday and they're like, I don't feel like doing this anymore on Thursday. We just don't know. But with that relationship that we form in the beginning, we're there to be sort of responsive. And when we make recommendations, we got to do it gently because we want to make sure people always know that it's their life. They're the independent person here, and we're just trying to make it all work better for them.
I'll tell you what I love about this. There's so many things I love about it. But the one thing I really love about it is the dynamic, because spending time with a child is maybe there's friction. I mean, there's love, but maybe there's a little friction, right? And spending time with an aide also might be a little bit of friction. Spending time with a peer that really almost becomes sort of a friend, if you will, for lack of a better term. I'm sure friendships do develop, out of this. That's a different dynamic. And it's a dynamic, what I have found, John, in living this with my parents and being in the industry, is that there are so many little cracks along the way that aren't just, okay, if it's in this box, if it's in that box, or if it's in this box. And I view your service as filling one of those cracks, a big one, by the way, because so many people are here with family out of town. They may have lost a spouse, they may be a widow or a widower. And this gives people not only the dignity, but it also gives them, I'm sure you have lots of smiling clients, both as providers and as, the actual client. And that's what I really love about this. That dynamic has to be different than any other option or dynamic they may be used to.
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying it that way. Things can be lighter than they are. There is sort of this, medical look at a lot of our aging seniors, and the medical comes first and foremost in lots of people's mindset. But in reality, they're spending, a lot of time and they're a more complicated person than that medical model suggests. And I like the way you say the cracks, that's the stuff that is sometimes the family can miss that too, because mom or dad doesn't want the world to know that they're struggling a little bit here, or, they don't want to be a burden, and they maybe don't want somebody to come into their house either. That's sometimes a challenge, but the cracks are what the work ends up being at the end of the day. Because if this works out well, we're catching somebody early. This is a little bit of an unconventional model, so people aren't really aware of it. But if they are in sort of this preventive and quality life mindset, they can start companion care early. We're not there all day, every day. We're there a couple days a week just to iron things out and make sure that they feel independent. And when I say independence there, I mean they feel like they have a choice to do all these other things rather than kind of coping with things that seem to be a problem.
You know, the
Yeah, those,
mind is so important. The mindset and the attitude sort of controls the health in a sense, too. I mean, you know, if you're depressed because you're alone and you're struggling, you know, that's not a good frame of mind, and it certainly doesn't lead to improvement.
mhm. Also, a lot of times just doing those tasks that are so much more taxing for them or not getting them done the way they want them done creates a lot of mental and physical strain, and then they're too tired to do anything else. So this conserves energy for them so that somebody's making sure it all goes smoothly instead of them worrying about it or it just not getting done.
Oh, yes, Joel, that mental drain is
Mhm.
really what I think is something that we're all missing, with our senior care approaches. These things can take a emotional toll, and when, like anything else, when they go undetected or untreated, let's say, and we're not clinical, so I'm not saying we're treating that, but we're attending to it and helping the support system recognize what people are going through and how they're struggling, if they are, that can change the dynamic, because we will, a lot of aging seniors might just rationalize that, they're not good enough or they don't deserve
Right.
things because of that sort of cascading effect that's happening, as you said.
How
Yeah.
did you come to this, John? Like, tell us your story here in terms of how this became a
I like
business.
Yeah.
I like to call this your origin story
Yeah.
because you're a
Yeah.
superhero, right? Because you help so many people.
Well, I mean, definitely if you're helping seniors, you have I believe you have a helping mindset in all these different capacities, because there are a lot of things going on. They're like everybody else. We're functioning people who need help in certain areas because the capacity to handle all that life is giving us is sometimes too much. But to your original question, I made a career change about 10 years ago, and I went and got a master's in mental health. And since then, I was practicing, and I've been practicing to become a counselor. I am a practicing licensed counselor in Florida. And home care was not on my radar. Helping seniors, it was one of the populations that I was, learned how to work with, so to speak, but it wasn't central to where I was going at the time. But the seniors helping seniors model, I just looked at it and I said, oh boy. Yeah, first of all, I said, I wish I had come up with that idea. I got mad at myself first. And then I said, well, this is interesting. And the more I dug into it, the more I just thought it was a lighter and helpful way to help seniors with mental health related issues, which are, we all have a lot of them, and it's not just like these clinical things like depression and anxiety and PTSD. There's more to life, mental health life, than those things, and those things definitely need treatment. But so the peer-to-peer model is great because it also helps the companion. They are also, sometimes they have a life situation. The fees for their HOA are going up. They had a vision of their retirement, but they're looking, well, wait, what if I live longer? How do I afford that? Is that supposed to be a good thing? And now it becomes a stressor.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of unique challenges, and somehow in a wonderful way, things come together when two people have a commitment to one another, and a lasting commitment. I mean, I've had cases. I opened this business up in about 6 years ago. I have cases basically from 5 years plus that are still going on, and 3 days a week, and it's working, and everybody knows their roles, and the family knows what we can and can't do, and it goes, the more we work, the better we get, because we live and learn. So yeah, hopefully we're just making things a sort of a softer landing, so to speak, for a lot of people.
It's a really wonderful concept and just helps so many people. Because I know a lot of my parents' friends, especially the men, they're bored out of their minds. They don't know what to do with themselves. So sometimes it's
Yeah,
just, keeping them busy, keeping them engaged.
right.
If they were to be like one of the helpers, because they're pretty.
Right, 100%. And I jokingly say, when I hear somebody saying I'm interested in working and I'm bored, I say, all right, this is going to be good because
For my person.
yeah, at the end of the day, work can be therapeutic and a nice part of work of balance. It does create meaning and all these wonderful things that um there are people I hire that, I'm hiring retired nurses a lot of times, or retired social workers, and in certain cases, people who ran businesses, sales, banking. I mean, everybody's got a different approach, and I really don't turn too many people away because when people come here, they see it more of it as a passion than a job. And I just try to encourage them to be patient because I'm trying to find a good fit for them and and the client. And if I do find a good fit, it can last and it can be a really important part of their life.
It's fantastic.
John, what areas do you cover?
Yeah, I'm in Delray Beach, Boynton Beach, up to Lake Worth. So yeah, it's geographically not a big territory, but there are a few seniors in our areas.
Densely populated, the epicenter, I would call it.
Yes.
Yep. So, and tell our listeners and viewers how they would reach you, and your website, and if someone's interested in the services or becoming a helper, um, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, there's a remember, Seniors Helping Seniors is a franchise around the country, so someone can go directly to seniorshelpingseniors.com, and when they put in their contact information, it'll place them with a local owner that's in their area, so that'll be able to serve them. And if it's a little bit off, we can redirect people to the right owner to service them. So I would say the easiest and best for people to to go to seniorshelpingseniors.com.
Perfect.
Super. I can't thank you enough. And I hope you all appreciate what a great, unique service this is, that it fills in that crack.
Right.
My wife is a career strategist, and she runs into so many people that retired, regret it, and or just really need to fill in a gap, as you mentioned, in terms of X number of dollars per month. And what a great, just a great service. And I thank you for being here on your Smooth Move podcast. Folks, if you know anyone that is looking to move into a community or needs our help, we're yourdependablepartner.com, always available to assist and make sure your move is a smooth one. And we'll be back again next week. If you like this, hit the subscribe button, and we'll talk to you soon.